to Stack, Sip, and Spill. I'm Reagan.
And I'm Cherie.
And today we're going to have sort of a recap for our dog show adventure we had last month.
Oh my gosh, it was last month.
I know. We're going to start the conversation off about attending a dog show as a spectator. Like, what should I know before I go to a dog show as a spectator? But starting off, what are we sipping on tonight, Cherie?
Oh, I'm getting over COVID. I've been sipping on so many concoctions. I actually just finished up. Reagan had gifted me a Republic of Tea Wellness tea with echinacea. That was lovely. And now I have switched to a half apple juice, half cranberry juice blend made by yours truly. But I can taste it, so COVID didn't take away my taste.
Yay. That always worried me when I did get COVID a couple of years ago, if I was going to be able to taste or smell. And I was, but it was a little sketch the first few days. I was worried for a while. I'm sipping on Sleepy Time tea. It's one of my favorites, and I hadn't had it in a while. And I also added local honey, but it's creamed honey, and it's got elderberry in it.
Ooh. Is it the regular or is it the Sleepy Time with echinacea in it?
I think it's just the regular.
I like them both. They're both good.
I don't think I've had the other one, but
all right, let's get on with the show.
Yes. So, as kind of a recap, we went to the Mardi Gras show cluster. Is it really a cluster? I don't know. Just show weekend.
It was the Mardi Gras weekend. It's the only one that's called the Mardi Gras weekend.
Mardi Gras Magic is what they call it in Alexandria, Louisiana. We arrived there around Thursday. I got there Thursday early in the afternoon, and then you got there later that night.
Did I get there that night?
Yes, much later.
Yeah, it was like 10:30. Oh.
Yeah, you and your mom got in at like 10 o'clock, and we had like a quick little powwow, and then we all went to bed. Friday we got up, went to the show. We didn't have an early ring time, which is surprising because normally
10:50.
Yeah, normally Italian Greyhounds are early in the morning because we don't have to really groom. And then kind of depending on our counts, kind of depends on what time we have. But it was like 10:50, I think. So we got to sleep a little bit. Got there. We showed. Everyone showed really good. Barry got winner's dog. Do you want me to say what Lucky got? Or do you... Lucky got select, yes.
Which works. It's kind of like the World of Winner's Dog for Grand Champion points.
Yes, so
kind of the same concept.
Because Lucky is a champion, AKC champion, he was awarded select, which is only awarded to champions. Barry couldn't have gotten select unless he was a champion. That night was the night we went to Cracker Barrel.
That day.
The day?
We went to Cracker Barrel that day. That was a long day.
That's right. We ate twice that
day. In that night.
We went out to eat twice that day.
Yeah, we went to Cracker Barrel for lunch, and then my husband came into town because we thought he was going to have to show on Saturday. And it was my husband's birthday weekend and Lucky's birthday weekend. And Reagan had never gone to Texas Roadhouse. So even though he got in late, we were like, oh, naturally, let's go to Texas Roadhouse really late at night. Because we're on dog show hours and we eat at all odd hours of the day and night.
Yep, whenever we're hungry. But yeah, that was fun.
We did discover the drive-through daiquiri place that day too.
That is true. No, we did that Friday. No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Too many daiquiris. What day are we on? Saturday, we had multiple things, and we had to be there at like 8 o'clock. Our ring time was 8 o'clock. Um, or Ben, I almost said Lucky. Ben went into beginner
I
puppy.
know, I do it all the time.
Yeah. And at the
He
same
did
time,
so good. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, he was so happy.
So the whole time before, like leading up to beginner puppy, we were all walking our dogs out in the hallway, trying to like calm them down, trying to see if Lucky was gonna be good for Brent. Um, and then
He
like
was
Cherise,
not going to be good for Brent. He's in
and
his suit and everything.
yeah, and like Cherise said, we weren't sure if she was going to be able to make both rings because they were next to each other, but they were going on and starting at the same time. We had juniors in front of us, so it did take a little longer. But um, what happened in beginner puppy?
Yeah, so he was about in the middle, the toy group. So in beginner puppy, instead of it just going breed by breed, they did like all the breeds of one group and then did the little group right then. All the breeds of one group and then did the group then. So he went in for toy breed and he won the toy breed because he was the only one who showed up. Yay! But he did really good. He was very chill on the table and our judge, the judge was wonderful and Ben was like, "Yay!" and happy, but not like rearing up and kissing or anything. And he did pretty good on his down and back. He's still kind of bouncy, cuz he's getting used to it. He had only had one handling class before that. So we're going to handling class regularly now to try to work his wiggles out. And he ended up on someone else's TikTok even
Yeah,
and like looked good. I was very
he
proud of
looked
him.
really good. I
He was
was
super
watching
cute.
from the ring over because I was standing with Brent and Lucky, and Lucky was like,
Yeah.
excuse me, where's my mom?" Um,
Yeah.
but he looked really
And
good.
we finished up in time to get over to the IG ring and I almost that was a little bit of a fiasco getting back
Yeah.
in the ring on time. So anyways, but we made it over there and Lucky went select there also. And so that was Saturday. Oh. And then Brent's mom came into town cuz she lives in New Orleans. So she was there and we kind of all hung out and then we went to the Hotel Bentley.
Yes. For lunch. Yeah. So after the boys showed, Barry got Winter's dog again. Um, let's see. We put some tickets in for the raffle because it's something we always do at the shows. If you have seen our
I put
reel,
a lot of tickets in for that raffle.
yeah. If you
It was
have
good. I
gone to
asked
our, yeah. If you've gone to our Instagram lately, there's a reel up where we're holding our baskets. We did end up winning. We both won baskets, and then we kind of traded some items in those baskets to make them a little more fun. Um, but we went with some,
I think we were very suspicious because they were like, "You really got that number?" And I was like, "No, we really both won. We're not making it up." We
yeah, yeah. Um, and then we went to Hotel Bentley for lunch with the Italian Greyhound people. Well, not all of them, but a good handful of them. We had a really nice time. The food was really good.
That was my first lunch with a bunch of breeders.
I
It was
know. I
fun.
think it. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't my first, but yes. Outside of nationals, yes, it was.
And that hotel is gorgeous. If you're
Yes.
ever in Alexandria, go peek in the lobby. It's beautiful.
If you're gonna go for the show, though, definitely book early because I waited too long and didn't get to book there. Because it is connected directly to the convention center. So very convenient for that. And then that night, we went back to the hotel, chilled out for a little bit, and started decorating for a birthday party. It was Lucky's second birthday party, and Brent's was, what was it, Monday? Monday. Lucky's was really Sunday, but we had the party Saturday. We decorated and then had our live episode. If you want to go watch that, that's also on our Instagram. I've been trying to work on saving it so I can upload it to YouTube, but it's not working for me right now. So
Oh.
I know it's been kind of cantankerous, but we had pizza and almost said Mardi Gras cake, king cake, basically Mardi Gras cake.
3 king cakes.
Yes.
Brought 3
Um,
king cakes, and the boys had toys and
mhm.
treats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had lots of fun. You did.
And we wore our Iggy Pop shirts, which were really cute. So then on Sunday, Lucky's actual birthday, we had to get up pretty early. No, Saturday was early, Sunday was later again. This time it was at 10. So we were able to pack up
Yeah, but
our
we had to pack
cars.
up.
Yeah, we were able to pack up our cars, get everything in, and check out of the hotel and drive straight to the convention center. Um, we did some shopping, and then we showed Barry Got Winter's Dog again, Lucky Select, and Ben and your mom went home early, didn't they?
Yeah, well, Ben didn't come because I had the thought of, when Ben is in the kennel and Lucky's not, Ben's like, because he wants attention. He's the youngest child. So I was like, let's just leave him there at the hotel. She stayed at the hotel and she kind of went back and checked to make sure we didn't miss anything. And just to see how Lucky does differently, because Lucky is very chill in his kennel. He'll take a nap in there, kind of doze, even though he's sitting up, but he can't really do that with Ben in there. So that was kind of like a test run to see if he showed better without Ben around, which it was fine. It wasn't he didn't show really great that weekend, and I think a lot of it was because of Ben, because Ben just climbs on him. And then she ended up checking out not far ahead of us, and we went to the Bass Pro in Baton Rouge, and we had baby's first Bass Pro trip. It was so cute. Ben does not want to sit in the stroller. So, I mean, Lucky was like, "This is how you do it, little brother." And Ben was just climbing all over him. So, in the video, it looks like Lucky's stressed out. And I was like, it's actually that just Ben is climbing all over him and wanting to play Bitey Face the entire time in Bass Pro. But it was really cute because Ben got to look at the fish and do some training in public around, what's the word I'm looking for? Lots of odd objects and smells. But yeah, it's always good when we're out on the road to find a nice, chill, to find a nice dog friendly place and get them some different experiences.
Moving on from our recap, we wanted to kind of start the conversation about what to know before you go to a dog show as a spectator. Because a lot of people don't really know how to go about it, where to find out about the dog shows. Because I have told people at work, we literally have a show 20 minutes away from work,
Yeah.
and y'all have never heard about
They
it
were like, "What?
before.
We have one?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's really common. People are amazed. "Oh, we could just go?" Like,
yeah,
"Yeah.
yeah. So,
Take your whole family."
we're gonna start talking about that. We could probably go on about it for a while, and kind of branch off from that as like what to know before you exhibit at a dog show for the first time. Might be like a part 2 to this conversation.
Because first you gotta find the dog.
Yes.
First go to a show without a dog first.
Yeah, yeah. Inspectate. So starting us off, how to find a dog show near you even. Cherie and I kind of go different ways with this. So she uses a KC event search. Do you want to kind of talk about that real quick?
Yeah, everybody hates AKC event search, but I'm used to it, so I use it. People think I'm crazy. There's another website called Infodog, and Reagan will talk about that. But I use the AKC event search. It might be a hassle, but it's what I do. And it's right there on the front homepage, an event search, and you would click confirmation because essentially what the dog show is checking, does the dog conform, confirmation, to the breed standard. So you would click on confirmation, and I like to do the search like a distance from a city. And what I do when I'm like looking up dog shows that I might be interested in exhibiting at, I put I think it's the 350-mile radius. So that way it's not looking at specific states, it's looking at a bubble, and I do that from my city, and it'll list everything for like a year out. And if they're multiple days, it's going to list it each time. It's not just going to say, one dog show, 3 days. So it'll be a very long list, and that's how you go about it. And when you click on it, it'll tell you, where it's going to be, what days it's going to be, what all they're going to have, if they're going to have juniors, if they're going to have a B match, all that stuff is listed. And you would see a thing called the premium list. And if you want to click on the premium list, it would tell you, what judges are going to be judging what dogs. If you're going to spectate, it doesn't really matter much other than just to tell you the exact address of the place. And, it might say something like, this is the theme. And on this day, parking will be $5 or whatever. So it could give you a little bit more information, but pretty much everything will be right there in the event search.
So I use InfoDog. I know a lot of people that use it and even enter shows on that website. I've never done that before, but I do use it very often to look at results as the shows are happening. And if you go to infodog.com and you're looking for a show to go to in your state, there will be a option up at the top called show info, and it will bring this little drop down for you. You can actually look at shows by state. So for me, I go to Arkansas. I'm going to see all the shows this year in Arkansas that have been submitted to AKC and approved. And sometimes they will even have those premium list stuff like Cherie talked about, maybe even just a judging panel. And sometimes even you'll see past entries. So you'll be able to check and see how many Italian Greyhounds were entered in blah, blah, blah show in Hot Springs, Arkansas, to kind of get an idea if people actually bring Italian Greyhounds to that show that maybe you want to go see and watch. But it will tell you all of the different kennel clubs that are in Arkansas that have shows going on, where they're going to be, what the date's going to be, what kind of event. So you kind of have to pay attention to the type. Normally, when I'm looking for shows, I look for the NOHS logo, because that automatically makes me see, oh, hey, that's an actual show to enter and not Fast Cat. So I kind of pay more attention to that than the actual abbreviations of all breed. But NOHS is National Owner Handled Series. And that's basically when I show Barry, I'm Barry's owner. So I can check that box saying that the owner is showing the dog, and you get put in a different pool to go to owner handled groups. So just a little extra thing. We'll talk about that later if you're going to exhibit. But I do like to use InfoDog to search for specific shows in different states. If that seems a little daunting to you, you can also just search maybe dog shows in Arkansas or kennel clubs in Arkansas. And more than likely, websites will come up, or list of kennel clubs in the area will come up, and you can go to those websites and see when their shows are going to be, and what their show hours are.
So I don't recall off the top of my head on the event search, but I think there's also a box for specialties. So if on InfoDog or event search, if you're looking and it says there's a specialty, for example, Pensacola in March, Pensacola, Florida, there's an all breed and a kennel club that does a toy group only specialty. So Papillons and Italian Greyhounds, Chinese Cresteds, whatever. So if you're wanting to specifically go for where there's going to be a lot of Italian Greyhounds, if you might go a little bit further out of your way, but there's also a specialty going on for whatever breed you're looking for, you're probably going to find a much greater number of those dogs, because that specialty means that they get to enter twice a day, and they get to enter under judges that they might not normally get to show under, who are chosen specifically to judge that specialty. So that's a good thing to look forward to.
Yes. So if you're looking for a specific breed that you want to go watch, you can look for the club that I'm a member of, the Italian Greyhound Club of America. There's pretty much a breed club for almost all the breeds. Maybe some of the newer ones don't have a club formed yet. But if you like Pekingese, search something along the same lines of the Pekingese Club of America or something like that. Because normally these clubs have roaming specialties, so they will, whoever hosts or puts in a proposal to host those shows, will kind of pick the location in the event center that they want to have the show. So they will kind of roam the United States. There are a few clubs that only specifically have their nationals at specific places like Purina Farms. You just kind of have to go out there and look and start with the breed that you're most interested about.
A lot of those parent breeds and kennel clubs are more active on Facebook too. I've noticed more so than their websites a lot of times too. So Facebook might be your better bet to find the kennel club and parent group postings.
And if you even want to make it easier on yourself, if you go to AKC and then look for the breed list, once you click on that specific breed, like for us, we would click on Italian Greyhound, the link for the breed club website will be somewhere on that page about the dogs. So make it a little easier on yourself. As far as cost to attend, normally it's going to be free. Depending on the venue, maybe how big of a deal the event's going to be, you may have to pay for parking.
Like $3, $5.
Yeah, it's not ever going to be anything crazy.
Nah.
But normally pretty free to attend. So next up, we have what we call the judging program, and also the catalog. So if you want something you can take home with you to kind of remember the occasion, if you will, you can go by the superintendent's desk and get some of those. Normally for the catalog, you do have to pay. The difference between judging program and catalog, though, so the judging program would be more for the exhibitors, but you can always go by and check that out. What it will have inside is really what judges are going to be in what ring, what times different breeds are going to be showing, what times groups start, that sort of thing. It's not really too specific on what dogs are going to be entered. But the catalog, however, will have pretty much all that, plus the big thing everyone wants to know once you get to a show, you don't know who's entered up against you. You buy a catalog, and it's normally like $5 to $10, and it's going to list out the dog's names, what class they're entered in, for all the shows that weekend. So you can always go by and pick one of those up. If that interests you, they'll have them at the superintendent's desk with the judging programs. And you can also check those out online normally with the superintendent. So the superintendent is really who helps put on the show, who sets up the rings. We use Onofrio a lot in the area I'm at, Foy Trent.
Foy Trent down here. I like Foy Trent.
Yes, there's lots of different superintendents across the states. So sometimes they will put up the results that day or maybe a day or two after. Some of them don't put up results at all, I don't think. It depends really on the area, I think. But you can always look at those later on at home if you want. If you just go to the superintendent's website, there's normally a space for results or judging program. You just have to go out and look for it.
I always have the judging program pulled up off the superintendent's website on my phone just to double check, and if you say you like Great Danes and you're like, I just want to come see the Great Danes at 10, you don't have to come early, but if you want to see the hubbub and the craziness that it can be, you need to come early because everybody's grooming, everybody's got their coffee, and all the rings are going early. And as it kind of peters through the day, people will start to leave after their dogs have left. So it's a much more energetic and exciting first thing in the morning, even if the dogs you're there to see. But if you're going to see Italian Greyhounds, we're probably there first thing in the morning. So that's when you're going to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could just go
even if we're not going to show for another 2 hours.
Hopefully we're there on time. And you could just go say it's a Foy Trent show that they're the ones putting it on. You can go foytrent.com and you would go to closed shows, because the show is closed, meaning no one else can enter it. The deadline has passed to enter it. And you would click on, for example, Alexandria, and you would click on Judges Program, and you would download a PDF, and you would have it all at your fingertips of who, what, where. Like on Saturday, was it Saturday? Or was it? Oh, it was Sunday. My husband was so excited that Italian Greyhounds were showing between Cardigan Corgis and Pembroke Welsh Corgis that we were the meat in the Corgi sandwich. I think it was Sunday. It might have been Saturday. He was so happy. So you can see it ahead of time and plan out your day like a nice Disney trip.
And
Plan out your
normally
agenda.
there are times where I only buy catalogs when I'm at a multiple like a cluster weekend, so I can keep up with it and know how many points are being awarded, especially if there's a large entry. So that's really the only time. And of course, if you go to national, you've got to get a catalog. Duh. But there's always some fun information in there too. Yeah, go by and check it out. Sometimes they just have some you can flip through to look at. Especially, they probably wouldn't even mind, especially if you were just there to exhibit or not exhibit. It's been a long week. Spectate. If you've never been to a dog show, they're going to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. You can look through it.
And especially if you are one of those people who is fascinated by the crazy dog names.
Yeah,
that's fun to
some interesting ones.
And see the fun names.
Yes, I have a note sheet in my phone that is so long of different litter themed ideas that I have, or just specific registered names that I have that I would like. Just keeping up with it. Like, you never know when it might come up. Listening to the radio, watching a movie, new idea. What should you bring as a spectator? Number one, you're even going to see exhibitors with this, and that's going to be folding chairs, some kind of light chair for you to carry in. Some of the shows do have chairs for you to sit in, but you can't really bank on that because you never know if you're going to the show that doesn't.
And they get shifted around and people move them. And,
So what I recommend doing is taking some and leaving them in your car and going in for a little bit, walking around, because that's what you're going to be doing for a while anyway if you've never been before. And then later, if you want to go sit down and there are no chairs, go out and get your chairs. So don't expect to carry everything in at one time, because that's not going to be much fun for you. Wallet for food and vendors. We always have a lot of great vendors.
Shopping.
Yes. And they're not always going to be dog specific vendors either. In Alexandria, there were several jewelry vendors there. There was a food vendor. You can pretty much see a lot of different vendors, a good variety of items for you to go purchase. So be sure to bring your wallet, have cards and cash, because you never know if someone's only going to accept cash only.
So the types of vendors that we normally see, so that you kind of have an idea. You're always going to have someone there who is selling bizarre, to most people, dog treats. Because a lot of people are doing what's called baiting, right? Like holding up treat in the air to get their dog to pay attention. This is where Reagan and I like to get all the crazy things like dehydrated chicken feet, dehydrated or mainly freeze dried a lot of times, chicken hearts and turkey hearts, and what did we get? We got cow tails.
Esophagus.
Cow tails.
Cow nose.
Oh yeah, esophagus.
I don't know. Lots
beef
of different
snout
stuff.
and pig snout. That was fun. Messing with my husband, holding up a piggy nose. Like, would you still love me if I looked like this?
And he was like,
and with that, I'm comfortable with this conversation. We got some beef cheek strips. You're going to find all kinds of dog beds and dog cushions and things like that for their crates. Dog show leads, which are fascinating to look at too if you're not used to it. Almost all dog shows that have vendors are probably going to have someone that's selling like silly t-shirts and house things like mugs and cups and totes and stuff like that. So there's going to be stuff that you might find with an interesting breed on it that you wouldn't normally find. There's almost always going to, well, I should take that back. There's going to be some kind of food, like whether it's going to be food trucks or there's going to be a concession stand or something. You're going to have some food somewhere.
And something I want to add to that that isn't specifically to vendors, but something that you'll find at dog shows that you don't have to purchase. But if you're walking around ringside and see some boxes, they're often going to have magazines in them. So Canine Chronicle, Show Site, they will donate those magazines to the clubs and have them out for people to take ringside. So if you see those and you want to take one, feel free. I get some of all of them when I'm at shows anytime I'm there, and I take them and put them in my office at work. So it's something fun just to have out and to look through.
Also helps you kind of just pass the time. And if there's a dog in there that you saw, a breed, and you're like, oh, that's what or one you didn't see yet. They're basically just magazines full of advertisements of specific dogs that are showing, not necessarily at that show, but in the country at that time. And then they have some pretty cool articles scattered throughout, but it's just doggy eye candy.
Yeah. And it's a fun conversation piece in your office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, as soon as people walk in my office, they know I love dogs. So,
As it should be.
yeah. The next thing on our list isn't really what to bring with you, it's what to not bring with you. Maybe we should have moved it down on the list, but some venues or kennel clubs do not like for you to bring strollers, like baby strollers. And the reason behind that is, of course, room. There could be a lot of trip hazards in the area, like extension cords across the ground, rugs, that sort of thing.
Doggy feet.
Yeah. Most of these exhibitors will have some sort of trolley, cart, crates, all kinds of grooming stuff. There's just not a lot of room to bring in strollers.
And we don't want little babies down at eye to eye level.
Yeah.
If they're walking, cool, but little bitty babies at eyesight level, reaching their little baby hands out, not a safe idea.
Yeah. So I guess unless you just really have to bring something, what I would do is bring it, keep it in your car, and go in, walk around, and maybe just ask someone while you're in there, hey, is it okay if I bring my stroller in? And they'll tell you yes or no.
I haven't been to a show yet that didn't allow them, but I mean, you've encountered ones that in the past have. So it is out there,
Yeah.
but it's not as super common.
Mm-hmm. Bring some water with you, drinking water, because if there's not going to be anything available for the spectators, you want to have something in your car, maybe some snacks or something, and wear comfy shoes because you're going to be doing a lot of walking and standing.
Like sometimes they'll say, all right, the concession stand will be open from this time to this time. So you want to have something on hand just in case.
Mm-hmm. So, what should we not do at a dog show? Well, one,
I don't want us to be intimidated by this. Is a very long list. Please don't be
yeah, well,
intimidated.
we're just trying to help
Prepare.
make your experience a positive one.
There's a lot of things people wouldn't otherwise think of.
Yeah. Because you think, I'm just going to go see some dogs and pet all the ones I can. So, number one, yes, you can pet dogs, but you need to ask first. And don't expect them to allow you to do it if they're standing ringside about to go in. So just don't walk up to an exhibitor and start making conversation before they go in or during their ring time because their mind is in the game. And same thing with their dogs. Like with Barry, right before ring time, I go away from anyone that's there with me, whether it be my grandparents or friends, mom, whatever. I walk away, walk them around, stand off of myself. I don't really talk to a lot of people before ringside, even when I'm about to walk into the ring or in between. I don't really talk to people because I need to be focused on my dog. be sure to ask to pet dogs. Don't do it before or during ring time.
And don't be surprised if people just don't want you to pet their dog. It's not that we're being rude. Sometimes that dog is not having a good day. Sometimes we're just focused. Sometimes you just fix their hair. I mean, it's not a rude thing. Sometimes it's just,
And sometimes they're training.
yeah, sometimes they're still training. Sometimes, like with Ben, it was his first show. I didn't know how it was going to go. If he had been scared, nobody messed with him.
So the next one is a very big one. In fact, we probably should have put it at the front of the list, because you will see this on all of the premium list judging programs. Please don't bring your pet. Don't bring your personal dog. If your dog's not entered, don't bring it, because you never know how they're going to react. You don't know how the other dogs are going to react to them. And it's also an extra dog in the building that doesn't need to be there. It's not required to be there. And it's for safety reasons. So don't bring your pet. Dog, cat, bird. Yeah.
It is a bummer. Wait, I understand that. A lot of times these shows will also offer stuff outside of the confirmation ring, like Fast Cat, and those things for sure. Bring your dog down. You can enter them in Fast Cat if they have an AKC number or a PAL number, but you're not going to take them into the confirmation area. And my understanding is that some bigger cities also do like combination expo and dog show. Don't bring your dog over from the expo part into there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't feed the dogs without permission. Kind of like don't pet the dogs without permission. We don't know you on a personal level. We don't know where your hand's been.
And our dogs have
Sure,
particular diets.
Yeah.
Well, so like the first time I met Lynn Partridge, she was like, "Here, feed them these chicken hearts." Like she was like, "Yeah, go ahead and feed them," but a lot of times we will have something like, "Oh yes, I would like for you to do this. This might be a training experience for my dog." But don't assume that whatever you have, and just don't make any assumptions, please.
Now you can ask, do you have a piece of treat or bait I could give to them? But don't be surprised if they're like, oh, no, thanks. So,
Yeah,
no hard
for a
feelings.
million different reasons. Yeah.
We, the dog show people work really hard on keeping their dogs in shape and making sure they're ready for the ring. So, yeah, routine is very big in the dog show world. Yes. So,
Well, for dogs in general.
Yeah. And we also try to make sure our dogs don't poop in the middle of the ring. So, like me, Barry doesn't bait, so I don't even do it in the morning. He has a light breakfast and then he'll have a snack after. Next on our list, don't talk to or bother the dogs in the ring or the crates. A lot of people will sit ringside and go, "Oh my gosh, look at the cute dog here. Look, puppy." That kind of stuff. That's going to mess up the dog and the handler. It's distracting. We get that they're cute. They're all cute, but
treat them like a service animal.
yeah.
And they're in their crate. That's their space. You know, they're like, "Oh, look at the thing in the crate." Shh, please, because last thing we need is a bark and fit happening.
Well, and worse than that, what if someone got bit? That is their space. The only person they know that gets them out of that space is their owner.
That's their safety bubble.
Yeah. So just don't assume every dog is going to be super sweet if you get in their bubble.
They are trained a specific way for a specific thing, not for people to be messing with them outside of that specific thing.
Don't stand around the ring entrance because we are already going to be standing around. So we go in the ring at the right time, because if they go over us and we don't go in, we're skipped right over. So don't stand over where everyone's leaving in and out of the ring. And even maybe to make sure you're not standing there or in the way of the dogs going in and out, stand on the opposite side of the ring if that's available. Sometimes the rings kind of connect on each side, but just kind of stand out of the way so then you don't get run over by a dog or bait thrown at you, something.
Yeah, it'll look like people are just standing around. It'll look like, oh, that's a fine place to stand. But that's because we are staying very close by to zoom in and zoom out.
Yes.
So if you see that there's the entrance and you're having to pass by, do it very quickly, very calmly. Get out the way.
Yes. And if you are there sitting around a ring for a while, watching the dogs go in and out, just from experience of watching people and sitting next to spectators, if you're a
You're trying to
spectator,
say this so nicely.
yeah, yeah, I am. Spectators, please refrain from talking about the dogs or the exhibitors because you never know who you're sitting next to. If they're the owner of that dog or friends, family, or something, talk about it later when you leave if you really must.
I would like to add from personal experience, remember, so obviously it should be let's not say anything bad about the dogs. Let's not say anything bad about people. We want a positivity zone. But also don't say anything positive because a lot of times you'll think, "Oh, look at that." I heard, "Oh, look at that cute such and such breed. It's such a nice dark black." And I was like, "You don't know if that is a good thing in their breed standard or not." Now, if you really, really, really know the breed standard, I'm happy for you. But also, you don't want to play favorites and things like that. But yeah, you have to be careful because you might think something is really cute on a dog that might actually not supposed to be cute on that dog.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to just stay
Yeah.
quiet and just observe and just think, "Aw,
And
aw."
I mean, you can do like if they're all going around the ring, ooh, I really like that Italian Greyhound. Ooh, I really like that Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Calmly and quietly, yeah.
Yeah, maybe don't get too specific about compliments or
Yeah.
flaws you see.
Because it's just one of those things you just don't realize it until after the fact, like, "Oh, I didn't know that actually meant that, and I shouldn't
Yeah.
have said it." Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tricky.
Next on ringside etiquette, we should have a full episode on ringside etiquette. um, snacks ringside are okay, but don't be too distracting. Because dogs love food. I mean, humans love food too. If you were sitting next to ringside that I was in eating a steak and baked potato, I'd probably be pretty distracted.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine
I
if we
know,
had
right?
that for lunches at dog show? Oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that'd be a step up.
But normally, especially if there's a vendor and it's after lunchtime, maybe groups are going on, that's where I really see more people having snacks because they're done for the day and they've got to eat something. So they may have a granola bar or nachos, something small, not very like in your face. Hey, I'm having a 4-course meal right here, or a McDonald's or something smelly. That's okay. Just don't flaunt it.
Yeah.
Make it obvious that, hey, I'm eating something. Um,
And make sure you don't drop anything too.
yeah. And if you do, pick it up, please.
But it's not a big deal. People do have snacks and stuff next to the ring. That is part of the thing that we're training our dogs not to do. But yeah, if you've got like a burger and fries, they're gonna smell that. They can't help that.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
smell that. So we've talked about cost and how to find a dog show, what you can bring with you, what not to do. But how and when should the spectators even talk to the exhibitors?
Big
When's
one.
the right time to go up
Yeah, that's a big one.
and talk to them?
Let's start with when to talk to them.
Yes. The best time to me is more of an afternoon thing. If they have already shown, you see them sitting around relaxing, maybe having something to eat for lunch or walking dogs outside. When it's obvious that they are not about to go in the ring or they are frantically grooming to go to the ring.
Yeah, if you just watched Italian Greyhounds and we're walking out and we're kind of like chill, la la la, that's a good time too. If it's a handler that has another dog, they're gonna be shooting off, and then you're gonna be like, "Oh, that person probably has another breed or another dog to handle." But yeah, if it's just one of the people we finished up, we're packing up, nice and slow, that's a great time too.
Yes.
A lot of times you can Even if it is a professional handler, I find the easiest thing to do is to say, "I would love to talk to you about your dog when you have some time." And then they'll say, "Oh, I've got time now," or "Actually, I'm just gonna take take them out to potty. Just sit here and I'll come back." Or, whatever it's gonna be. Yeah.
And another thing is a lot of the vendors too exhibit dogs. So if you're in there shopping, heck, go ahead and start talking to them about dogs because they're going to
Yep.
know some things. Now, how should they go about talking to the exhibitors? Well, hey, I like your dog. No, I mean, you can.
Just like, "Hey, I'm really interested in your dog." And we're gonna go, "Yay!" Most all exhibitors are gonna be excited to talk about their dogs unless they're in a hurry, and if they're in a hurry for something, please don't be offended. I mean, sometimes we got a headache and we're just trying to get through the dog show and go home.
Maybe what we should do is reach out to some of our friends that also show and ask them, especially the ones that are also breeders, what questions do you like to receive from people outside of the dog show world? Maybe looking to get into the show scene or looking to get a specific breed. What questions do you like to hear from them as far as starting that conversation?
Yes, we should. We'll have to do a Q&A. As a
Yeah.
breeder, what would you want to hear from a potential owner?
Yeah. And don't walk up and be like, "Hey, how much do those dogs run?
Oh my gosh.
Do you have any available in blue? I
Oh yeah,
want a blue
y'all, you
female right
cannot sell
now."
dogs. You cannot sell dogs at the dog show, so don't
No,
even you can't. You can get
no.
to know the people and you can get to know them as a breeder, but you cannot sell dogs or puppies, and we also cannot breed at the dog show. Big no-nos. So that ain't going to
Yeah.
happen.
So don't expect to go to a dog show and be able to go buy something
Not a pet store.
unless it's a stuffed dog. Have fun. So when you go to a dog show, what are you even there to watch?
Oh,
Well,
this is the fun part, the meat of it. What
yes.
the heck am I
So
looking at?
let's do this. Let's start at the beginning of the day and go down to the end so we can talk about everything in between. And we won't get too in depth with it because we want to explain there's certain like routine or like step by step of what happens when you go as an exhibitor, kind of breaking down rings and ring time and classes and that sort of thing. So we won't get too far into that, but when you show up in the morning, if you get there 8 o'clock, you're gonna go in and people are gonna be grooming all over the place. You're gonna hear hair dryers and clippers. You're gonna see people with chalk, and they're going to probably be wearing their grooming smocks because I have one. You're going to do the pledge because that's something that most kennel clubs do before everything.
The national anthem.
National anthem, yeah. Some of them don't. Sometimes we do the pledge.
Every single one I've ever been to, it was the national anthem. And that's always fun because you get to find out how many dogs are going to howl when they hit the high
Yeah,
note. So that's
yeah.
fun.
They only do that when it is 8 o'clock and the show is starting right
You
after.
play ball.
They're pretty good at starting on time. So as soon as 8 o'clock hits, national anthem's over, dogs are going in the ring. There are normally multiple rings going on at the same time. Most of the time, you will have more like of a certain group in a ring. So a lot of the hounds will be going in and out of one ring. Every once in a while, there's a toy breed thrown in there randomly. It kind of depends on what the judges are able to judge that day. And if there's maybe not a judge there to judge a specific breed, they throw it in with another judge that is licensed to judge that breed.
Yeah, so you can sit at one ring and see a whole variety of dogs.
Yes. So you can kind of walk in between rings, look around, sit and watch. That's the time I would bring your chair in if you're going to bring one in. There's nothing for you to sit in there. And then they normally have a lunchtime because the judges need a break. They need to go have lunch and eat, and the exhibitors need to eat. So around lunchtime, 11:30, noon, 1. It kind of depends on how long the show's going to run. And then after that, they start back up. They finish off with the breed judging. and then they do what we call groups. So those are all the groups coming in at their allotted times. And then if they do like beginner puppy or open, sometimes they'll do open class, which are the breeds that are not yet completely like recognized by AKC.
So they'll go through the groups: herding, hound, toy, non-sporting, sporting, terrier, working, and then you have the, like, open or miscellaneous foundation stock. Yeah, that's your ones that aren't in yet.
Yeah.
Oh, and in Alexandria, we had race. That was fun.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
loved it.
I love brace. Okay. So you go into groups. So for us, we are in toy group. Italian Greyhounds are a toy breed. All of the winners that got best of breed that day go into toy group, and then they'll pick group 1, 2, 3, and 4. Whoever is group 1 goes on to best in shows. So all of the group 1 winners from all the different groups, so was it toy, sporting, non-sporting, working, hound, terrier,
Herding.
all of the group 1s from all of those groups will be moving on to best in show. So that is the last group for the go round. They'll go in, pick best in show. You're in. You're done. Then everyone kind of cycles out. If there's another day to showing, people will probably hang around. If not, normally, especially on the last day, people will kind of filter off and leave as the day goes on. But after best in show, that's when the show kind of ends for the day. People start cleaning up and heading to the hotel or home.
And a lot of time, simultaneously, in a ring next to that, you will have the NOHS, owner handler groups. Now, you won't have the same group happening at the same time. For example, when Lucky his one time he went and he got group 1, it was owner handler toy group, and then we had regular toy group, and then boom, best in show right after it. So it was like boom, boom, boom. The order of the groups is not a set thing. That just kind of has to do with, again, the judges and getting the judges a break and which judge is doing whatever group. So that would be listed in the judging program and in the catalog.
Yes. And I kind of forgot to mention when the judges are watching the dogs, they are supposed to have studied the standard for each breed. So all of the breeds have their own standard. Italian Greyhounds have their own standard in which we work to breed dogs and show dogs that fit within that standard. So that is really what the judges are supposed to be keeping in mind when looking at the dogs as they're judging them, feeling them on the table exam or whatever exam they're going to, they do table, ramp, or ground or floor. When they put their hands on the dog, they're looking for specific stuff. So the ones that win best of breed are supposed to have fit that standard the best as the judge has seen it. The same for best in show. That dog fit the standard the best out of all the dogs in the group.
Yeah, there's a misnomer that you're comparing dog against dog. You're not. You're comparing that dog. Which of these dogs is closest to its own possible perfect version of that dog?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a very long. Hopefully we tried to keep it pretty positive for you. And you're not intimidated. Please don't be. Dog shows are a lot of fun to exhibit and spectate.
And we know a spectator when we see one. Don't be stressed out. I mean,
yeah, like
just be a nice, happy, fun person, and we see on your face like, whoa, look at that dog. Like, we know when you're a spectator, and we're pretty
well,
chill.
I'm like that every time I go to a show when I'm sitting ringside watching some elegant hound that I don't have go across the ring. I'm like, oh my gosh. We're all like that.
Look at that Afghan do agility.
So, that was our little spill on what to know before you go to a dog show as a spectator. Kind of wrapping up this episode, we're going to do a little recap on what we're currently working on, what's coming up next. And then we do have a shout out from first and only so far live stream. If you made it through, thank you for the kisses,
hi,
Fairy.
Barry.
If you made it through our live stream and watched the whole thing, if you said king cake,
you would be Kitty the Iggy.
Yes. Kitty, you're getting a special prize in the coming weeks, so watch out for that. We'll let you know.
Considering it has to ship to Canada, it might be the coming weeks. Okay, so what we're working on. What are you working on?
Same old, same old. I've got a project coming up. I don't know when
we still can't say it, can we?
I don't think so. So can't announce it yet, but we have the go. Yeah. So when I can announce it, I will, but it's exciting. Other than that, still working on Barry's Championship. I started a note of all the shows that I'm probably going to attend this year, and the judges, just so I know and remember. Also put down the closing date, so I have that to look forward to, and hopefully get to see Cherie, Lucky, and Ben again in June.
Yeah, we'll have to do his CGC. I think that leads into what am I working on? So I'm just going to keep taking Ben to handling class on Thursdays. It's so funny because he showed so chill, and then on handling class he was like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Charlie, I remember you," the president of our kennel club, who also helps judge the handling classes, and he was totally goofy again because he remembered everybody. So he's got to grow out of that, and I'm gonna work towards him getting his CGC in June, so that way I can just turn around and do 5 tricks for TK, for Trick Dog. Yeah. Instead of having to do 10. We'll knock that out at once. I think the next thing we have coming up is probably going to be Pensacola in March. Pensacola is a toy specialty and all breed. Probably one of those days I'll only enter one because I have to work. And on Sunday do both. So I got to figure out how I might split that up between Ben and Lucky, because I don't think Ben will be ready for 2 shows a day.
Man, my next show isn't until May.
Oh, I hate that.
I know.
When that happens.
Well, it gives him a good break, I guess, and me a break, because work is going to start getting pretty crazy. So I'm going to build up my time so I can take off and go to a cluster weekend.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm not really trying to worry about any Trick Dog stuff, because we're going to Disney over spring break, and I got to get my Excel sheets in order. Yep.
What do you do with the boys when you go on trips like that? Are they going to go
Mom comes over. Mom comes and stays over here. But the sad thing is, when I'm not here, Lucky just sits in the chair and looks at Ben like, "I'm not playing with you." But the moment I walk in the door, they're like, "No." He doesn't. He's so different when I'm not here. He's a mom's boy. Is
this Lucky's first time where you're going to be gone for a little bit?
No, we've gone to Disney at least once, maybe twice since I've had him.
Okay.
And he's good. He has his routine and he goes to sleep, and because Mama just comes over here, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But with Ben,
that makes it a lot easier.
It's gonna be interesting. Oh boy.
Yeah, you're probably going to come home and Lucky's going to be like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're home so he can go home."
Yeah. He's going to sleep for a week.
Well, if you have any suggestions or questions or topics you want us to cover on another episode, send us a message on Instagram, any of our accounts, Beer the IG, Iggy Mom Ray,
Rough IGs,
Stack Sip Spill, any of those accounts. Reach out to us. Let us know what you want to hear. Any segments you want us to start doing.
We do have to plug the Iggy Gras. Iggy Gras is on Tuesday for Mardi Gras. We're going to have a virtual parade. Yeah, Lucky. That's right. Ooh. You gotta have a virtual parade on Instagram. Doesn't have to be just Iggy's. We like all doggies. So put on your costumes or your purple, gold, and green and tag us at StackStipSpill. Oh my goodness. Or hashtag IGGYURAS. And we're going to put. Lucky is so excited about the virtual parade.
So excited.
Iggy Gras.
Wait a second. Are we gonna have some little party again?
King Cake.
It's gonna be king cake. Do I get to play with Lucky again?
What happens at Iggy Gras stays at Iggy Gras.
For real though.
All right, I think that means it is time for us to hang up.
All right, well, signing off, and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye, Cherie.
Goodbye.